Hello everyone, in this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Moeed Pirzada to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Moeed Pirzada's words. Exactly 37 years ago today in Punjab, Pakistan, a tragic incident took place. A plane exploded mid-air and was destroyed. At that time, the chairman of the Senate, Mr. Ghulam Ishaq Khan, in his Pashto-influenced Urdu, said, "When the plane rose into the air, it burst and was destroyed. Inside that plane were Pakistan's then Army Chief and President, General Zia Ul-Haq, along with DG ISI General Akhtar Abdul Rahman, who was also called Fateh Afghanistan, or the Conqueror of Afghanistan. Many senior officers were on board, along with the American ambassador to Pakistan, Arnold Raffel, and the US Defense Attaché at that time. All perished in the crash." Back then, it was widely said in Pakistan that General Zia Ul-Haq faced a serious threat, and perhaps the Americans might attempt to assassinate him. That's why he always kept the US ambassador and the US defense attaché with him, almost as a passport, immunity or protection. But perhaps this was not true. Both the Pakistani and US governments conducted inquiries, and both concluded that this was simply an accident, not an assassination attempt. However, whenever I personally discussed this matter, for instance in a detailed conversation with the late General Zia Ul-Haq's son, Riaz Ul-Haq, or with General Akhtar Abdul Rahman's son, Humayun Akhtar Khan, both of whom I had good relations with, they told me in complete confidence that they believed it was no accident. It was an assassination, an act of terrorism orchestrated by Washington and the CIA. After the crash, General Mirza Aslam Beg, then Vice Army Chief, became the Army Chief of Pakistan. Somehow he had not boarded the ill-fated plane, since he had his own helicopter and returned separately from that military base. As for General Zia Ul-Haq, a common perception is that by then he had entered a peculiar state of mind. He had become a self-proclaimed Marde-Momin, or man of faith. After the Afghan war, he had begun sending Afghan mujahideen and militants into Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, something the West and Washington did not like. Another major reason was that Washington wanted Pakistan to resume and kickstart a political process, but General Zia was the biggest obstacle. He had strangled his own Prime Minister Junejo's government in May 1988, dismissing him abruptly. Renowned Pakistani author Muhammad Hanif wrote about this tragedy in a brilliant political satire in his book Case of Exploding Mangoes. I've always wanted to have a discussion or interview with Muhammad Hanif about this book and his literary achievements, but somehow it hasn't worked out. If any of you have contact or friendship with Muhammad Hanif, kindly convey this request, that we could have a very good discussion on Case of Exploding Mangoes. Now let's come back to the year 2025. In the past 24 hours, many people have accused Pakistan's current president, Army Chief and Field Marshal Mr. Asim Munir of having a God complex. Recently, through Mr. Sohail Waj's column, General Asim Munir conveyed a message to the nation after a 2-hour meeting with him. But not a single line of that column has been received positively. Everyone is upset, and it has been condemned non-stop for the past 24 to 36 hours. One particular part, however, sparked heated debate, where Field Marshal Asim Munir reportedly said that even Iblis or Satan sought forgiveness. Religious scholars pointed out that Iblis never asked for forgiveness, while angels did. This religious invocation by the general has greatly confused people. Perhaps the general himself does not realize what he has said. PTI, or Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, strongly responded to this. If you check PTI's official Twitter handle, you'll see the kind of posts, comments and slides being circulated. One viral image shows all Pakistan's past army generals and dictators, Ayub Khan, Yahya Khan, Zia Ul-Haq, Musharraf, Bajwa and Asim Munir, with a caption, "First apologize for your own dark deeds before asking anyone else for forgiveness." Such images and open criticism of generals were unheard of in Pakistan before. Even if they existed, nobody dared discuss them. Now the situation has changed drastically. Other viral posts say, "First apologize for creating black laws like the Idat law and for disgraceful acts." Others demand, "Apologize for rigging the February 8, 2024 elections, or apologize for breaking into our homes and committing brutality." Meanwhile, prominent Pakistani anchor and commentator Wajahat Saeed Khan coined a new term in a viral video on Twitter, which I also retweeted. He mocked the so-called honorary medals given to certain journalists, saying, "These are not real military medals, these are ass-kissing medals, awarded for kissing the behinds of powerful figures. He contrasted the prestigious Hilal-e-Asar, a military medal, with what he sarcastically called Hilal-e-As-Kissery. Moving on, PTI has, for a genuine reason, temporarily suspended its political campaign and protests. It has instructed all workers to assist flood victims in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, particularly in Buna, which you've already heard has been devastated. The flood situation is worsening, with continuous warnings that monsoon rains will intensify and head toward Punjab. Officially, KP's death toll is reported as 340, but locals from Buna alone say the number is closer to 1,000. Beyond human lives, infrastructure, roads, public buildings, markets, warehouses, worth billions has been washed away. Meanwhile, India's respected newspaper The Hindu reported cloudbursts in Himachal Pradesh with 4 to 6 deaths in different villages. But in Pakistan, the same type of cloudburst has caused hundreds of deaths, a mystery in itself that deserves investigation, like something out of an Ibn Safi novel. Elsewhere in Bajar, Pakistan's government has imposed a strict curfew from August 17th to 21st in 24 locations of Mahmud Tehsil, warning that violators will be shot. A bizarre and alarming situation. Similar conditions exist in Balochistan. Recently, I spoke with a very successful, well-known Pakistani businessman, often considered a supporter of the current regime and military establishment. He clarified, "I am not a regime supporter. I am not even a military supporter. I am a supporter of Pakistan." For reference, however, we can say he supports the establishment. He told me, Dr. Moy, things could not have been better. Right now, Pakistan has a sense of direction and conditions are better than ever, economically, politically, strategically. I was surprised and asked how he reached this conclusion. He explained, "Economically, Pakistan has always had imports greater than exports, so every year the situation worsens. At least now there's some stability. The situation is not getting worse, which is itself positive." Politically, he sees positive progress. He believes PTI has been co-opted, but overall Pakistan's politics and strategic strength are improving regionally and internationally. He added, Pakistan currently has strong relations with both the United States and China. Meanwhile, India's Narendra Modi, who once claimed he had isolated Pakistan internationally, now finds India itself increasingly isolated, partly due to Donald Trump's trade tariffs. Just as after the 1965 war, the world, which was otherwise interested in Pakistan's progress, particularly the Western world, came to the conclusion that Pakistanis were warmongers, irresponsible and irreconcilable. And so the world withdrew its support from Pakistan. After that, Pakistan faced crisis after crisis. Their conclusion now is that India too, with its post-Pahalgam war and aggression against Pakistan, whether a 3-day war or 4-day war, and the attitude of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has deeply frightened the Western world. They believe that Narendra Modi has now become so unpopular that he will not even be able to negotiate with Western leadership, including Donald Trump. On this point, I strongly protested. I said, "You are overreading. It is not so. Donald Trump has his own temporary, momentary needs which he wants to fulfill, but still this whole thesis that the powerful or successful people who currently support the present dispensational regime in India feel this way was what I wanted to tell you, so please do comment on it." Now, regarding Narendra Modi, the analysis given by this successful Pakistani business personality may or may not be correct, but the fact is that Narendra Modi is indeed in trouble these days. In the last 24 to 36 hours, after the Trump-Putin summit, the expectation that India would get some relief has vanished. A senior Indian official has confirmed that the United States trade team, which was supposed to come for the 6th round of negotiations, to conclude the bilateral trade deal that both sides had initially agreed would be finalized by the end of October, will no longer come. The team was scheduled from the 25th to the 29th, but now it is not coming. No official reason has been given, but Indian sources say Donald Trump is increasing pressure because he wants India to open its agriculture and dairy markets to American exports. Narendra Modi is not agreeing, since he believes that if American exports are allowed in, Indian farmers, dairy producers and fishermen will suffer badly. But Trump does not stop there. He also wants India to open its auto parts market, spare parts market and weapons market and reduce reliance on Russian and French weapons systems, instead buying American weapons. This is unlikely to succeed. Just yesterday I read an interesting report in a Turkish newspaper claiming that Spain has cancelled its F-35 fighter jet orders and is opting for Turkish fighters instead. Whether that happens or not, it shows that the F-35 has been facing negative commentary. Even in India, when one F-35 aircraft was displayed, it generated strong negativity. Even Fareed Zakaria, the Indian-origin American political commentator and editor, currently with Newsweek and formerly of the influential Foreign Affairs Journal, wrote a piece in the Washington Post about, 24 to 36 hours ago. His argument is that Trump is making a huge mistake in how he is treating India. For 5 successive US administrations, starting from Bill Clinton, then George W. Bush, both terms, then Obama, Trump and now Biden, there has been a bipartisan consensus that the US needs India as a counterweight to China and as an engaged partner in global dynamics. Trump, however, is frightening India instead of leveraging it. But what Zakaria failed to acknowledge is that Trump is in fact demanding a quid pro quo from India. Trump and his team believe that for 25 years the US has been very generous to India, providing market access, opening up for technology transfer, giving global recognition, making India part of alliances, while India has done little for the US, unlike Pakistan, which shed blood and fought wars alongside America. On the contrary, India has bought Russian oil after the Ukraine war, refused to stand up against China, and not distanced itself from Russia. So Trump is now demanding a quid pro quo. Whether India agrees remains to be seen. In a previous vlog, I told you that Indian companies might continue buying Russian oil, though there could be bargaining over whether Modi opens agriculture or dairy markets to the US. Some Indian viewers strongly reacted when I said India had stopped buying Russian oil. They insisted it hadn't stopped, and they were correct to some extent. The Indian government keeps saying it will continue this policy and has not instructed companies to stop. Major Indian oil companies are still buying around 2 million barrels a day, in fact more in early August than in July. At the same time, some reports suggest that Indian companies are diversifying sources, looking at West African, Nigerian and Iraqi oil, likely because India's energy needs are so huge that it must buy from multiple sources. Prominent Indian journalist Suhasini Haidar, diplomatic editor of The Hindu, published a comprehensive report in the past 24 hours, noting how Trump had claimed India had stopped buying Russian oil, saying he might not impose secondary sanctions if India complied before August 27th. Whether that forgiveness materializes remains uncertain. The Ministry of External Affairs officials have neither confirmed nor denied stopping Russian oil purchases. Meanwhile, India's Ministry of External Affairs also maintains that Trump played no role in brokering the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, calling it purely bilateral. But honestly, it is obvious that Trump did play some role. Few people in the world would deny that. This situation, India, America and Trump's dynamics, is being seen very positively in Pakistan. People are celebrating it. But I think, this is only temporary. It won't last long. By August 27, 2025, things will be much clearer. My gut feeling, though I may be wrong, is that some excuse will be found and the deadline will be extended, giving India more time. The US and Trump's administration will not actually impose an additional 25% tariffs, raising Indian duties to 50%. This is because such a move is deeply unpopular in the US itself, and Trump is only using it for pressure tactics. He will not want to sustain such an unpopular decision for long. Still, India might give some concessions. But Modi's troubles are not limited to Trump. Congress has also created problems for him. For the first time in many years, serious allegations of election rigging have surfaced in India. Rahul Gandhi, in his August 7th press briefing, presented detailed data alleging that in just one constituency, at least 100,000 bogus votes were registered. And that nationwide, Congress lost about 48 seats due to manipulation in the 2024 elections. Congress won 99 seats, but had those 48 not been taken, it could have reached 150. Conversely, BJP, which won 240, would have been reduced to 190. Of course, this is a hypothetical Cinderella story. It will not happen. But its significance is that for the first time in my life, I am seeing outlets like BBC, Deutsche Welle, ABC and other international media publishing detailed stories suggesting that election rigging may indeed have occurred in India. Not to the scale of Pakistan, of course. By comparison, the allegations seem minor, but still quite serious. So these are the current developments regarding Modi, Trump, India and the elections. That wraps up our translation of Moeed Pirzada's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.